Hey, welcome to the Steve Davis Show. Special guest today is Robert Portnoy, voice of the Lobos. And Robert, congratulations coming in, man. It's been a while.
No, it's wonderful to be with you, Steve. We were just having lunch the other day and realized that it was a really long time since I'd come on the show. And thanks for the opportunity. I'm glad it worked out this week.
You've been, well, it could actually a good week because a good road win. Okay.
Yeah.
And really, like you and I talked last week, as more as fans, as not as some just looking at the progress of the Lobo early in this deal. That was a big win for a mental.
Yes.
Mental for the whole city and for all the Lobo fans.
No, we've seen it where if things don't get off to a good start and then it gets closer and closer to basketball, that sometimes it's hard for football to gain momentum. So that was really important.
Or regain momentum. Like last year,
Exactly.
it was like they got, they lost to New Mexico State. They had some tough losses and people then they started winning and people started jumping back on the bandwagon. This Tulsa, that's just a great win. So.
Big win and difficult conditions. I mean, it was 90 plus degrees, 60% plus humidity. Midday sun there in the Oklahoma humidity and heat. It was nasty.
Not big fan bases. I mean, Bob. The reason I know, again, I like to listen to 610 with Jeff Semiotta when I
Coach
come to
goes
work.
on there every week.
Yeah, and he comes on about 8:30, and I just happen to time it where I can it almost this time I get out from my house till I get to listen to him.
To the entire interview.
Interview, and so I've been doing this now ever since Bob Davies has been coaching. But it's neat to see how he is really methodically put this thing together over. If you watched his thought when he was losing, said, no, we're not good enough. We can't compete. We have to do this, and then he just evolved it and said, hey, we got players. And then when he did lose, he says, no, now we didn't do a good job of coaching. I mean, he never really made excuses for anything.
No, he's.
You talk to him on a daily. I'm just saying.
Sure.
I just listened and watched him, and I've watched what he's done for New Mexico, taking over from Rocky Long, which is always in the back of his mind because Rocky Long is doing such a good job at San Diego State, but he's doing a great job.
No,
that's just
was
from a
well, the mess that he had to clean up after Mike Loxley, it was tough. I mean, that's just the reality of it. The program was decimated with the number of scholarships that were available being limited, the fact that so many players had departed. The place was in upheaval over there. The Todium complex, he had to rebuild it from the ground up. It's apropos that we're talking on Air Force Week because Coach Davey really modeled his program around Air Force. I mean, that's kind of the attention to detail, the discipline, the attitude, the want to, the never quit piece of it, doing more with less is what he likes to call it. And he says it in the most complimentary way. Air Force cannot recruit the same type of athlete that Alabama can recruit. The same can be said for New Mexico. He knew he needed to do something a little bit different here to have success, and he's been able to do that. And of course, it's Air Force Week, and every time the Lobos play Air Force, it's just a phenomenal game. They've played 5 times, the Lobos have won 3 since Coach Davey arrived, and they've all been right down to the final kick, it seems, final gun.
Well, and that just sets up the week. I mean, it's a 5 o'clock.
Right.
Start, correct?
Yeah, 5 o'clock on Saturday. It's homecoming.
I didn't know that was homecoming.
Yeah,
so
homecoming week. So there's going to be a ton going on.
Weather. I looked at the weather. Weather's going to be good too. Again.
Yes, yeah. And I know that the Alumni Letterman's Association, the Lobo Club, and Lobo Sports Properties have all partnered together to create just one massive, awesome tailgate. So the fans should, come early, park early, get to the tailgate, and enjoy yourself, and then get into the stadium early and make it tough on Air Force right from the opening kickoff.
Well, I think going back to the New Mexico State, I think a lot of people learned their lesson on that. You better get there really early because we were doing the Dream Style which you won. Congratulations.
Oh, right. No, next door. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about
Yeah.
the Green Style Arena. Robert Portnoy comes out of.
I made a few free throws.
Made free throws, and we haven't seen Adam Dill since. He just really, you really have.
I thought I saw him just walk in.
Well, he just disappeared. He didn't want to come on and be, come in second place. Proview comes into second place with the voice of the Lobo. But how great was that? But I'm just saying I was there at. We had to be there at 9 o'clock at Green Style Arena with Larry Chavez to on that Saturday, and there was already a line of people all the way down. I mean, you would think that there was some crazy thing happening, and I guarantee you that this time people might even just come the day before. Set their stuff up. I don't know if that's legal or not, but I'm just saying, if that's what I was going to do, I'd just say, you know what, hey, I'm coming in on Friday night at 7 o'clock, and I'm just leaving my vehicle here, and I'll come in and walk over to the.
Yeah, well, especially with a great kickoff time like that of 5 o'clock and anticipated, the weather's going to be terrific. There are only a limited number of places to get your tickets. We always encourage everybody to get them early rather than wait on game day, because you don't want to get stuck in a line. You don't. So do it early, and you save yourself a little money, and it's going to be awesome.
And that's a good problem to have.
Exactly.
I mean, but if you just go back, in the Loxley area and in the first years of Bob Day, he's brought it back, and I tell you what, the tailgating is like.
Is it picking up?
Oh, it's
you
like,
loving it?
Well, I haven't been able to go.
Okay.
No,
but you've seen it. You're observing.
Well,
Well,
no, because I get texts. Why am I not here? Okay.
Your friends are working you over. Get over here. Yeah.
And the reason why is we have a high school game at 1 o'clock, and it gets over at 3:30 or 4, and time. If it's a community stadium or if it's a Wilson, it's 15
you're rolling in a kick,
and then it's like you roll in, and I get all your food's ready. You're doing. I'm sorry, guys. I just getting here, and then so that they're all upset because I was supposed to be there early, and I go.
You got to work, yeah.
But to me, it's actually pretty neat because we start off with Yaffle, 9 to 1, and then we do a high school game 1 to 3:30 to 4 o'clock, and then you just get in the car and go right on to the next. So it's an all day affair for me.
That's a pretty good Saturday right there, though.
And fun.
Yeah.
I mean, and you know how you've done Yaffle games and how exciting those games are with putting them on the air and then going to a high school game, and it makes us look really professional. We're live at most of the games are at community with Yaffle, and then we'll go to Wilson and we'll click on and say, hey, thanks for watching Yaffle football, and now we're into high school football, and then by the way, you just go on to the Lobo game and sit back and relax.
Well, I want to say congratulations to you because it's been a while since I've been on the show, and not only are you doing the great things on your channel, but now you've got the game of the week on My 50 TV, and from where this started.
And I know now you have to watch. You don't have Comcast now. You get to actually watch.
Absolutely. I've got the season record set up now, so I can see your games. No, it's great.
Isn't it kind of neat to see it where we started? You remember when we started that little office?
Of course.
You started a little sports
desk. What is it,
7
6 years ago now?
Is it? Or 7?
Okay.
I think
it's just amazing.
By.
Yeah. Fantastic.
And we had that sports desk in a little bitty office that we had, and I always tell everybody that Adam, you're one guy that will sit down, and I remember going to the barney room, we were going to lunch, and everybody's looking to make big money and all that, and I said, Barbara, you're not going to make much money with me, but I will help your career, and with just if you'll just go take this thing like you're making, it's like the thing, and you did it, and look at where you've gone with that. But it was, I still to this day have that picture, your autographed picture. It sits right on my kitchen. Robert Point. I was like sitting there and going, that was really pretty great. I mean, you always remember my birthday too.
Steve, you know what?
You got some good qualities. So, you keep that up. Don't get too big time now. So.
Hey, you know what? You attract good people. You have from the day that I met you. That was one of the things that I noticed right away is that you surround yourself with good people, and they're good workers. They're competent. They're passionate, but they're genuinely good people. You know, good people attract good people, and that's why I wanted to be around it. And I'm glad that I could help it grow in a small way. You know, being a part of it from when it started, it was fun. I mean, we had a blast.
It's always you're such a great announcer, always been. Okay, and then to let me be like your co-host, or whatever, to do a game, and
we had so much fun,
and it was great. The biggest compliment was, I was your mom's your biggest fan.
Yeah,
my
for sure.
mom's my biggest fan, and it was great that that she actually said I was actually helping. We did a good job together. And so
yeah.
And now I don't take that. I just did it because one, you asked me to go do it, and it was basketball, and I feel I have a great basketball.
Basketball.
Knowledge from coaching it, playing it, and what the levels of intensity that you need to come with, and it was like you said. The word is it was just. I couldn't wait to the games. I mean, it was like
Yep.
I couldn't wait because you come in so prepared, and I found myself. Actually trying to come in to see if you missed something, just to see if you don't deal it, and then it made me better, is what I'm saying. So.
Well, your knowledge of the game, I learned a lot about basketball working with you when we were together at Proview, and it was fun because once you got comfortable with the mechanics of the broadcast and got natural with that, where you didn't have to think, oh, when am I supposed to talk? What do I do? How do I, say this or whatever? And you just started being yourself because you got comfortable with all that. That was when Mom said, hey, you guys sound really good.
It's the old thing when you're thinking you're making mistakes, when you're just reacting.
Exactly.
It's like you always use that term in basketball.
It's repetitions. How many repetitions does it take before it becomes instinctive? And once it does, you can be really good.
Well, Robert, we're going to go to the Dream Style top 10 plays of the week, and you get to watch them, and we'll come back and talk more Lobo.
Okay.
There's a long pass, and that's going to be caught and touchdown.
Each side of a 1st and 10. And Nolly's going to go deep on 1st down, and that's caught, and look out. It's a foot race down the sideline, and I don't think anybody's going to catch him. It's going to go 80 yards for a score. Mikey Avidras, here's the squib kick forward, and now is it a reverse or a fake reverse? It's a fake reverse. Look out, a lot of speed down the sideline, and gone. Gonna take it all the way, 80 yards. It's Blaine Grant. Don't blink, another touchdown.
Game is gone. Teams are going for 6.
Trujillo, he's got plenty of time again. He's going to roll. He's under duress, fires to the end zone. Touchdown. What a grab. Out of a 15-yard penalty, it is 1st down and 10, and here is the handoff to Isaac Torres, and look at him go. Isaac Torres shot out of a cannon, and he's in. Touchdown.
That maybe that might be one of the first passes he's had a chance to catch this year. If you're catching a quick slant, and that's complete. And look, a lot of extra yards out in front. Shot out of a cannon, and Fernandez is going to score again. So the end of that game set.
really in control right now. Here's Bird on the quarterback keep. Watch out. A cut to the near side. Jordan Bird is going to go all the way. Touchdown. You can't stop him today.
The Vikings at the 40. Dami, the 7-step drop, throws out to the right. Intercepted. Going down the left sideline with some room. To the middle of the field. Might be a pick six. One man to beat. Cuts it back on the inside. 20, 15, 10. One more cutback. A touchdown. What a fantastic return for an interception.
Cuts to the outside and look out. Jordan Bird off to the races. You're not going to catch him. Touchdown. What a move. Look in. We'll send Erickson in motion. And the handoff is just, no, it's a double option. And there is Erickson. He's got a lot of speed. Look out. Watch out. Erickson shot out of a cannon. And he's going to go. Andrew Erickson, 99 yards.
Hoops NM Basketball Center is coming soon. 10 full courts broken into 2 wings for ultimate basketball and volleyball play. Locker rooms, a lounge area, a pro shop, and a full snack bar will all be a part of a great experience. Convenient parking and access will make the Hoops NM Basketball Center a premier facility for league play and competitive regional tournaments. With over 9,000 square feet, Hoops NM Basketball Center will take court sports play to another level in our community. Courts are regulation high school size with wood floors and seating for approximately 350 per court. Major sponsors and supporters are being assembled now. If you're interested, contact Dan Serrano at 505-249-7994. Send him an email, hoopsnm@aol.com. That's hoopsnm@aol.com. Hoops NM Basketball Center, a premier sports facility serving our community.
Folks, there's no other way but to be all in. Either he's Lord of all or he is not Lord at all. And you can experience the real and authentic, true life change that only God can provide to humanity. See, when we truly encounter Jesus and purpose to know him and follow his teachings, hashtag life change will occur.
The Steve Davis Show is proudly presented by Dave & Buster's.
Hey, welcome back to Steve Davis Show. Got Robert Portnoy, voice of the Lobos, and those top 10 plays, Dream Style remodeling top 10 plays, bringing back some old memories there.
Great memories, man, and there's some talented kids, aren't there? Goodness gracious!
And during that break, I was really surprised. You've been, and I know you're well educated on all the high school teams. I mean, what Manzano is, and you're.
I'd like to follow it. Yeah, I mean, we were so passionate about it when we were doing the games together. We're talking about our basketball broadcasts. You did some football games with me too, and you did a fine job on those too.
I brought something new to the table. Okay, and actually, is now when I do the game, I watch you actually do the stats. I have stats now, and it's made my broadcast better because it brings more to the table. I can say how many plays it took to score, how many turnovers, and whose points off the turnovers. I brought a little bit of
You ramped up your game.
And I work now with Scott Galletti, which is he's very professional when you go in, and he's actually said hey, I bring a lot because I'm not a football like a color guy that's X and O's elbows. And
right.
I'm no Dontrell Moore, okay, but they can pick up.
You haven't coached football like you coached basketball and played in. Yeah, no, I get it.
And by the way, I just want to compliment you guys. Sound great. You guys have got that chemistry and
we have fun. There's no doubt. Yep, and you can hear his passion, in his voice every time he talks. I mean, he still bleeds cherry and silver. And I don't know if you listened carefully, like this past weekend when New Mexico, kicked the walk-off field goal to beat Tulsa, and you can hear him. It just in the background and in the call of the game-winning field goal, he goes, "Buckets." He knew it was good. As soon as Sanders kicked it, he knew it was good.
Well, let's just go back to the first game you did, okay,
yeah.
Abilene Christian, okay, and he was just saying, look, New Mexico wasn't really getting any wasn't it was a close game. I mean, to really break it down, it was like truthfully, Abilene Christian without playing, without playing the Lobos, and he kept saying, look, we're going to see a big play. And the next play was a big play. They score like an 80-yard deal. They go, that's what New Mexico does. And then it was like, and I can't remember how many times I would tell you stuff like that, because I've been I've seen so many games. I've played and I've coached in games.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, watch this. Something's going to happen right here. Mm-hmm. Even though it's a 9-point, you watch. It's going to be. We could have an overtime where you're like looking at me like,
how do you know that?
Overtime. The next thing you know, we're in overtime, and you just get feelings of matchups and like you're talking about
Well, you can see it from where a coach sits, and you can tell where there might be an advantage or where something that hasn't been exploited up to that point. A coach is going to start to take advantage of that. You can see all that stuff. I was thinking about memories, and I don't want to shift to just this, but if we're talking about memories, the years that we had together calling games that involved either Cullen Neal or Bryce Alford or both of them, and those great teams that they had around them at El Dorado and La Cueva. Those are some memories that we're going to take to our graves, Steve. They were unbelievable.
Well, and to even go one more step with Coach Alford and how he it was like he expected us to be there. Okay, he would always be up in the deal. He'd be and Craig Neal. I mean, it was like it was something like. Unfortunately, about every 10 years or so, you get those type of, where everybody wants to see.
We were spoiled, weren't we? That's what you're saying.
I mean, for those 4 years, it was what a prime time for you. I mean, it was because those
we were so lucky. Yeah.
And we did so many El Dorado La Cueva games, and then we did the. I remember one game, Albuquerque High and El Dorado, triple overtime.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
And we're like, and it was in the Metro Championship game, and we're sitting there going, and it had so many storylines. And what happened over the 4 years is the word storylines. The storylines behind the storylines.
Yeah.
Okay, you have Craig Neal, you have Steve Alford, you have Cullen, and you have Bryce, and then. Then we watched their careers. I can't wait to watch Coleman finish his career off at California. I mean, at St. Mary's. I mean, that's going to be. I'm like, all right.
There's some symmetry there, isn't it? I mean, that's where he was committed to go before Steve Alford moved on to UCLA, and then we know what happened after that. Coach Neal got the job, and then Cullen went to UNM, but that's where he was going to go play. So that'll be really interesting.
Well, and I always think back, and one thing that I'm proud of here is that we have all those games still. They're still archived, and I was this other day. We do classics. Actually, we're not doing as many classics now because we're doing so many live things. Okay, and getting new shows coming in and things like that. But this summer I was watching some classics, and you and I were doing a game. I actually sit down and watch and it just brought memories of all the. What was going on that week, and as you as a broadcaster, I wouldn't say it's inside. You just know more than a lot of more people know about. So, like, if somebody has a big game that's been in the doghouse that really nobody knows about, and it's exciting to see him. Actually, to see him come out and succeed is, and I can tell you, it's funny. I can almost tell you, between you and Dontrell, that this guy is, needs some confidence building. He's been, he's not been, because you go to the practices and you see all the stuff, but then you bring it out in the radio in a way that is saying, look, this guy, 2 weeks ago, he was about to get cut. I mean, he was done.
Well, in fact, there's a player right now that's so important to New Mexico's success, football success. Richard McQuarrie has put the ball on the ground 3 games in a row, and he almost broke Dontrell Moore's single-season rushing touchdown record last year. He missed tying Dontrell by 1. And we really thought he had a great chance to break that record this season in his final year, but he's had some fumble issues here early in the year. It's only 4 weeks in. He's the goal line back, he's the short yardage back, and they're doing a lot more with him this season. They're throwing the ball to him out of the backfield, and the Lobos need him. So that's exactly the kind of player right now that he needs a confidence boost somewhere. Something's going to happen. Hopefully it's this week against Air Force to get him back to where, he's just playing loose and free and not worrying about protecting the ball so much.
Well, you got me going, because that's so neat, because you get to see that, but you also get to explain it. And like, I'm a sports guy, and I'm like, I know when we were doing the games, the players knew. They come talk to us. They can. You get to talk to the players, and then you're so positive with everybody. It would be great to talk to. Like, I know if I was playing and I was down, you'd come over and say, "Hey, Steve, hey, you're believe in yourself.
Absolutely.
Let's we've got a long season. Don't let last week's whatever. Don't hear what all the fans are saying like that. Hey, we still believe in you."
There's for example, in the New Mexico offense, if you're a receiver, you might not see a football for 3 games. They have a lot of really
That's a great point.
They have a lot of really good weapons, and it's very easy to get yourself, down, because that's what you want. I mean, if you're a skilled position guy, you want to have the chance.
That's why you came to school.
Yeah, you want to have a chance. And
everybody
has
that expectation of going pro.
Yeah, and they get their kudos for a block that springs a touchdown, and those are things that are talked about in film, and their teammates understand that, and their teammates see that. But those things don't bring the accolades that celebrating in the end zone do, right? Or making a big first down catch does. That kind of thing. So those are the types of players that, from their coaching staff, from their friends, from their peers, from their teammates, they always need that little pick-me-up, of, hey, you're important to this team. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep grinding. And that one time where you come open that you aren't expecting the ball is when you most need to be ready for it, because your chance will come. You will get an opportunity, and you want to be ready. And you might only catch 10 or 12 balls this whole year, but 3 or 4 of those could be touchdowns, and they could help the Lobos win games. That's the exact thing you're talking about right there.
Well, let me go one step further with that. You're going to love this. It was when I was recruited to New Mexico. And I had expectations of being, All-American from Clovis High School, coming into the university, and looking at the records and thinking that my name would be there and all that, and going to Coach Ellenberger in Wisnit's office, and the first thing they said, "Steve, you're not a scorer." No, you're not a scorer. So
the visions of All-American stop dancing in your head, right?
Yeah. And you're not a starter. But we have a place for you. And then they said, "Do you want to buy into what you do?" And I had a great career. I wasn't a great college player, but I was just an average college player, but I had a successful career.
You were a good teammate and a very productive member.
And I learned to play my role and my teammates, and I was important to them. I was, even to this day, Marvin Johnson scores his 50 points in the pit. Well, the first person he says, "I want to thank Steve Davis because I was sitting all the picks for him," and it was a little different then too, because there's only 2 refs. And you just visualize where the refs are, and we crossed, okay? And so I was called a headhunter. That's what I did. That's what Wisdom was saying. You're your headhunter. And so I would headhunt, and I'd basically do an illegal block and pop that guy because he's running, he's not ready for it, and nobody can see it. And then Marvin would be wide open, and then it was to this day. Marvin comes up, and he's very.
So you were the fullback. Marvin was the tailback. You were making the hole for him to make the shot. That's awesome.
So that was just to kind of say what you're saying, but
yeah.
and then I think that really helped me in moving on in my life. Just hey, you know what? You may not be, but you can be very valuable,
right.
No matter what you do. Just
exactly.
If you understand your role and what you do. Well, Robert, we're going to come back and we're going to talk more sports, some global stuff. So.
Sounds good.
Duke City Sports Bar. Proud supporter of Proview Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. Catch all the sports action from high school, college, pros, and MMA on one of our 35 HD TVs. Start your night off right with any selection from our delicious menu prepared with fresh, never frozen ingredients. Duke City Sports Bar, Albuquerque's newest sports bar. Located on Eubank and Montgomery, dial 505-433-4020.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a #1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Dave & Buster's is your destination for fun. Eat delicious chef-crafted food. Try sizzling favorites and new creations from our talented chefs. Drink the coolest cocktail creations. Play the hottest new games to win awesome prizes. And watch all the games in the best sports bar ever. Only at Dave & Buster's.
Car Crafters, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog!
Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened? Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
Hey, welcome back to Steve Day Show. You know what, Robert? I got to go back and go back. The real truth was that Norm Ellenberg told me not to shoot.
So it wasn't just, you're not a scorer. He said, don't shoot.
And I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do? And he says, and he actually lined it out. He said, look, I need somebody to come up that you're not starting. And he says, but you're going to play. And to this day, I can tell you exactly, 15-minute mark, I went in. I came out at the 9-minute mark, and I went back in at the 5-minute mark. So I finished all the first half, and always 80% of my career, I finished at the end of the game. And so it was great because I had no nerves.
You were very valuable too, clearly. I mean, you wouldn't have been in at the end of the half and the end of the game if you weren't.
Right,
so.
and I averaged probably probably 18, 19 minutes, and if you do the math on that or whatever it was. And
you told me you had one stretch where you didn't miss a shot?
Yeah.
How long did it last?
It was like, I can't remember, but it's a true story, though. And so I think I was like 12, 13 games or so, 14. I don't, and I was I was trying to get the NCAA record of not missing a shot
Field
the
goal
whole.
percentage.
Okay, whatever it was, and I'll never forget going, and I'm feeling good. I mean, I'm like 3 for 3. I'm 5 for 5, and I'm like, but they're all layups, because everybody's guarding Marvin Johnson. He dumped off to me, or to Michael Cooper or somebody like
High
that.
percentage shots.
Yeah, so it was like it was pretty. It should have been a great stat. You walk in the stats, and I got 100%. And
so you had to take that to coach, right?
I did. I took it to the coach, and I go, no, I go to Norm. I go, hey, I know you told me not to shoot, but look at my stats. And he says, it's misleading. They're not guarding you. You better be able to make those.
There's a reason they're not guarding you. Oh, that's great.
and I'll never forget. This is another true story. So I find we're playing like Utah or somebody, and somehow before the game, I'm kind of mischievous anyway. I was like this ball, so I got into the other team's locker room somehow, and then I was looking at the scouting report, and it had my name. You can't play a lick.
That was written on the scouting report?
I can't play a lick. I was so fired up, and I went in and no, actually it was Arizona. No, it was Arizona. It was Arizona, and they were in the top of the country. We go into overtime, and I come off the bench because all of our guys fouled out. And I scored like 8 points in overtime.
Because you were so angry. You were fired up. I love it.
I can't play a lick. That was my
that's the best bulletin board material ever right there. That's perfect.
Oh, and to this, it was just one of those. It was one of those crazy, you have games that you've done that are just like. So here, listen to this story. This is a true story. So a little bit dated, but we're at Arizona. We're down 5 points with 1 minute, and our guy gets and they're shooting the ball with the guy that shoots 95% shot. One of the guys getting an argument with him, getting a fight.
On the court?
Well, no, right? Yeah. So then the bench is clear.
The free throw lane.
Yeah. No. It's just and they're fighting, both Dill and it looked like we're done. Okay, and I hadn't played. I'm like sitting there. I'm trying to keep up. The president of the school at the time, he's trying to get down, and the police stop him. And he says, no, I'm the president of New Mexico. They haul him off. He says, the guy goes, I'm the president of the United States. You're not supposed to be on the court. They handcuff him and they take him to jail. What? Yeah, and so anyway, long story short was this guy goes up and he had 2 free throws. They gave us technical on both benches. He misses his first 2 free throws. Then he gets the technical and he misses those 2. We got the ball back, and they foul us, and we go into overtime with like 30 seconds to go in the game. And it was like, and then here comes me and the guy that can't play a lick. And the reason they couldn't find me, because I was playing center, and they had a great big center at the time, and it was, and so he didn't know who I was. And so a guy named Dan Davis, he was bringing the ball up, and I was sprinting. He just hit me up for a layup. I was just going in for layups.
I love it. That's a great story.
Well, and then so back to Lobo. I mean, we got off on, but it's talking about all those things you do it's kind of neat in our jobs is because you never know what's going to happen week to week.
No, you're right. It could be you were talking about storylines before. The storylines
And the
change.
storylines stick with you, and I'm talking about something that happened almost 35 years ago, and I can still remember it, and people will know about that game.
And talking about things not happening the way you expect, I'm sure that there were some folks that, looking at the Lobos football schedule going into this year,
well, it's always kept, when you're especially talking football. But I'll tell you, that win last week.
Well, what I was going to say is if you'd looked at the first 4 games on the Lobos schedule this year, you might have said they'd go into Air Force Week 2-2. Right? But the way that the Lobos got to 2-2 is not what everybody expected, right? Falling behind so big against New Mexico State at home, making that great comeback, and then still losing that game. Now you go to Tulsa and you think, oh my gosh, this team could be 1-3 going into that Air Force game. But then they win the game that you don't expect them to win on the road against Tulsa in those adverse conditions. That's the thing that's the hallmark of this program, really, is that it pulls off the unexpected, I mean, since Coach Davey's been here, they've been able to do that. They might lose a game that you think they should win, but they're going to deliver a win or 2 or sometimes even 3 that you don't expect. That's how he gets to 9 wins last year. First bowl win, since 2007. First time they reached 9 victories since 2007. That was such an impressive season.
Let's just go back to the loss after New Mexico State.
Yeah.
Again, I'm listening to the radio, and it was Bob Davies, because first he starts a statement off. He said, which I agreed with him. Yes, I always want to see the Lobos win, but I also like to see teams come in and New Mexico State came in. He goes, first of all, I don't want to take anything away from New Mexico State. They came in and their season's not over. And then you see what they're doing. They win. They haven't beaten the Miners in 8 years, and then they destroyed them. And they should have had an opportunity to win the game against Troy.
Right.
But he said, and then it was kind of and not in a bad way, but Jeff was like, oh man, you're gonna have to go to Tulsa this week, and Bob says, no, look, you know what? This is gut check, man. We're going to find out who we are. We're going to find out the deal. I'm excited. I go, we didn't come out prepared like we should have, against New Mexico State. But we know what we started too late and we finished on a positive note. Okay, and it carried on. I'm coming to practice today. I'm fired up, and then I go, and it's kind of like you could hear in Jeff's voice that, oh man, hey, your season could be over this weekend. I mean, from the fans being supportive. The
momentum that we're talking about, yeah.
So it was neat then to see them the way they won, and then to battle it out. And the great story on that is that the Barley Room had the game up, and we're watching the game, and so the last minute of the game, it froze.
Oh.
So guess what?
So you turn on the radio.
Yeah, so back to everything you said, it's like, oh, that's not too bad. Let's just turn the radio on. We turn the radio on and watch the...
I cannot tell you how many fans this week I have had come tell me that for whatever reason, because they had just finished work, or they were out with family, or they had chores, or whatever, that they were not able to see the broadcast. So, and in particular,
a lot of people couldn't find the broadcast.
Sure.
That's
right.
big.
Couldn't find it on the Facebook Live.
They want to pull it up and want to do.
So they, in particular in the second half, like I watched the first half, but then I had to go run errands, or I watched the first half and then I had to, take my daughter to swimming, or whatever it was, right? And I was listening. At the end, I was listening to the field goal, the final call, and how exciting that was. And if we're conveying that, the tension, the excitement, the thrill of that moment, then that's all you can ask for. And we had such a blast, seeing the kids outside the locker room after we had finished up the post game, headed down toward the buses, and the mood, and then the ride to the airport, the plane flight, the whole thing. It was just so cool to be a part of that.
Well, I felt like a hero because everybody was like they were.
What are we going to do?
They didn't know what they didn't know what we're going to do, and I'm like, no, it's real simple. Let's just turn the radio up and let's listen. Let Robert take over.
Awesome.
And Dontrell, just let them take over, and so you could almost, the screen was still up where it was frozen, and it had New Mexico, and we're like. You can almost visualize the field goal going in from y'all.
That's what we're trying to do. Paint a picture. That's great.
And the picture.
When did it go? When did the broadcast go down? Did New Mexico already have the ball? Were they on that last drive?
They were like the last,
almost lining up the field goal.
Like 45 seconds.
Okay.
So
it was less than a minute to go.
Right.
So you got the radio on just in time to hear the field goal.
Right.
I got it.
So Robert, we're going to come back. We're going to talk more Lobo sports.
Look forward to it.
Carmody Medical provides solutions for your everyday needs. Hot and cold compression wraps provide therapeutic compression for the shoulder, hip, and knee. The therapy wraps are constructed of an insulated outer fabric and a ventilated cotton pocket to protect the body. Elastic belts allow mobility and deliver a gentle, adjustable compression. The reusable therapy packs can be removed from the pouch and placed into the freezer. Contact Jim for more information.
VR Junkies is a virtual reality arcade. We specialize in all things VR, from the simple phone-based headsets to cutting-edge full-body motion systems. Check us out at the Coronado Mall. VR Junkies. Looking for some exhilarating fun? It's at All Out Zone. All Out Zone showcases Nerf Dart tag games, from team elimination battles to human versus zombies, pitting two teams against each other in fun, organized chaos with trained referees, music, and a full arsenal of Nerf blasters. You need team parties, birthday parties. We can customize the party to fit your needs. Visit us at the Coronado Mall. Give us a call, 505-444-6964. All Out Zone.
When I train for American Ninja Warrior, I schedule regular workouts to stay in shape. To keep my car in Ninja Tough shape, I head to a Napa Auto Care Center for regular maintenance and genuine Napa Auto parts. Like brakes and batteries. I trust my Napa Auto Care Center for quality parts and quality service. And with the 24-month, 24,000-mile nationwide warranty, I drive away with peace of mind every time. Visit AutoCareNM.com to find a location near you.
Carmody Medical provides solutions for your everyday needs. Hot and cold compression wraps provide therapeutic compression for the shoulder, hip, and knee. The therapy wraps are constructed of an insulated outer fabric and a ventilated cotton pocket to protect the body. Elastic belts allow mobility and deliver a gentle, adjustable compression. The reusable therapy packs can be removed from the pouch and placed into the freezer. Contact Jim for more information.
Sadie's is a proud supporter of New Mexico high school sports and athletics, and we here at Proview Networks would like to thank Sadie's for their continued support in helping us bring you all of your New Mexico high school sports coverage.
Hey everyone, Adam Deal here with Proview Networks. Extreme Clean is a proud sponsor and supporter of Proview Networks and all high school sports athletics. Owner Mike McLean and Extreme Clean specialize in carpet cleaning for apartment, realty, business, and residential clients. With over 20 years experience, attention to detail and quality customer service matters. For more information, give them a call, 505-221-6440, Extreme Clean.
Hey, welcome back to Steve Davis Show. I got Robert Portnoy. What a great job you have, and I know you're very humble about it. But I just you get to go to the games, and that's a passion that you love is sports.
I'm so lucky. Yeah.
But you know what? It was neat this week. I mean, you got to go play golf, and it's a really big passion with you, and you get to get firsthand experiences with Coach Weir and coming in, and that relationship will.
It was a great event too. The 6-man golf tournament, terrific event. Yeah.
And then we got Ed Nunez, him making his first day was that day. What a great job he has. First day he gets to go play golf and meet everybody.
Well, and we did our first Inside Lobo Athletics show too on Monday night, and it's going to be fun getting to know him, and I just love the passion, the energy that Eddie Nunez is bringing. It's exciting.
And it's, we have our own Ed Nunez that worked for us, and it was it was shocking to me. I go, Ed Nunez. I go, and I call Ed up. I go, did you really? You been hiding out on me, man, or what are you doing? And so I sit next to Ed sometimes. I want to have that. You watch. It's going to happen.
He comes over and does the PA for baseball sometimes. So we're sitting right next to each other sometimes there, and over at Santa Ana Star Field.
I told him, I said, it's going to be great when you have the Ed Nunez show. I go, that's something that'd be, all the fans that Proview Networks Ed Nunez has, and then him being the athletic director, I thought that'd be that would really win the fans over to have two Ed Nunez's going at it. So once he understands the whole dynamics, but. But your job is so emotional, because you get to know. I mean, I feel for you sometimes, because when the coaches are not winning, it's hard to announce when teams are getting beat. But if they're winning, everybody's your friend and everybody's great, and then and you're like, you have kind of a roller coaster.
Sure.
And you got to be mentally prepared to start the season thinking, all right, and I know you well enough. You're looking at this season, you're going, all right, and you just said it. Everybody expected Lobos to be 2-2, but how they did it, it's nobody expected that, because everybody thought that they were going to beat New Mexico State, probably lose to Tulsa on the road, come in at Air Force, and get beat by, I mean, if you look at the sports line, it was like 10 or 11. So
yeah, you have to expect the unexpected. You really do. And then you're right about the roller coaster piece of it. I mean, you get very invested. That's just the reality of it, because you're in the middle of it. You're right there, smack dab in the middle of it, and it's hard not to be emotionally invested that way. So you want to convey that passion. You also have to be smart enough to be able to keep the rudder. Keep everything level. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then you have, which I've never asked you for any information. Actually, most of the time I have a lot more information than you do, because and you're like, where did you hear that from, Steve?
Well, that's because you know everybody, Steve. And that's another thing that I figured out about you very quickly after we had that first lunch at the Barley Room, is that you're as well connected as anybody in town, and that's part of why you have had the success that you've had. That's why Proview Networks has become what it has become, is because of that piece of it, your support within the community. You couldn't have done it without that either.
Well, truthfully, I couldn't have done it without sports. I mean, and New Mexico sports, and coaches and athletic directors, and the network that Proview has built is really, it's a lot of moving parts, but it's really people passionate about sports. It's a real easy sell. It's a real easy. Who could not want to see high school sports and Yaffle sports and AYBL sports, and
it's a passion for the kids and a passion for their activities.
Right. I got a tearjerker kind of once, and a kid that plays for Trisco Heritage. We all have moments. Deals is like it was. It's a contribute to you and what you brought, and everybody that's ever done a game broadcast, and again, Cool Springs player of the game. Okay. I mean, that was something that you thought of that was still There was an interview at Trisco Heritage. Adrian Ortega's player. He was a freshman this year, and he has a game of his life, and he gets up, and Robert, you know what he said? He goes, I dreamed about having this conversation of being Cool Springs player of the game.
No way.
No, I got it. No,
that's fantastic.
And it just. It's hard to keep me from not talking, or being. To this day, I talk about it, and since that time, I've had 3 or 4 people come out. I got, we won't have enough time to go with these stories, but. I've had people come up, and their kid got the Cool Springs player of the game, and I knew him. Okay, so you think that you have, if people outside, they think that I know them, that's the reason that they got their kid got the
Right,
you know,
right.
it was a setup, okay? And this guy comes up to me, and I'm not going to mention names, but he comes up and he goes, man, he goes, thanks for getting my son with them. I said, who's your son? And he goes, and I know this guy for like 3 or 4 years. I go, who is your son? And he goes, oh, it's Isaac Torres. And I'm like, well, you know what? He deserved it. I go, Adam and I did the game, and he was the player of the game. It wasn't a set. And he goes, and then in the same conversation, he had another friend that we did a Yaffle game, and I just played golf. I just met him like 2 months ago, and he sat down and he goes, you don't remember me, but I was up in the booth and we did the Cool Spring Player of the Game, and we still play that tape. Is that crazy?
That's terrific. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that story. That's really good.
When you put your Cool Springs Player of the Game, put it to it, and you started out with Proview, you're still a legend. I mean, actually you're a bigger legend. Cool Springs is getting bigger and bigger. So.
If we're contributing still, that's fantastic. That was the idea behind it, so I'm glad it's working. That's awesome, Steve.
Well, some quick thoughts. I mean, we're coming to an end here, and it's always fun with you because there's nothing planned when we come in to talk about it. We just start rambling, but you know what's amazing though, and you're going to have double. Here's the one that I know this one kills you. When there's a football game and a basketball game going at the same time, you can't do the basketball game.
I'd like to be in two places at once. Yeah. No, it's tough. That is one of the toughest parts. Because football only has 12 events, right, the whole year, and then a 13th if they play a bowl game. And if they were lucky enough to play in a Mountain West Championship game, they could play 14 games theoretically. But because they have so few events, those take precedence. And yeah, it's hard, man. It's hard. Like when the Lobos go play in these exempt tournaments for basketball, and I can't do all the games in those tournaments. I definitely want to clone myself so I can, because you don't want to miss anything. Yeah.
And you're like, I know you well enough. You're doing the game, and you're still watching. You're listening to every moment of it because you're probably going to do the game the next week,
right?
And
you know what happened.
You got to know what happened.
Yeah.
So you're.
Yeah.
I was good on that one. That's a torture for you.
In fact,
in a good way, but I'm just saying.
Yeah. Let's think back to the exempt tournament from last year that the Lobos played in Anaheim. There was a possibility that New Mexico could play UCLA in that tournament, and I wouldn't be able to call that game. Can you imagine the impact and the importance of that game with Coach Alford leading UCLA against his good friend, Craig Neal leading UNM, right? With all the history there, and because I can't be in two places at once, I couldn't do that game. That would have been a huge disappointment. You're right. No, that's the hardest part of the job. Yeah.
Well, Robert, hey, thanks for coming on, and let's do it again soon.
Awesome to be with you. Thanks for having me.
Steve Davis Show is proudly presented by Dave and Buster's.
Dave and Buster's is your destination for fun Eat delicious chef-crafted food. Try sizzling favorites and new creations from our talented chefs. Drink the coolest cocktail creations. Play the hottest new games to win awesome prizes. And watch all the games in the best sports bar ever. Only at Dave & Buster's.
Hoops NM Basketball Center is coming soon. 10 full courts broken into 2 wings for ultimate basketball and volleyball play. Locker rooms, a lounge area, a pro shop, and a full snack bar will all be a part of a great experience. Convenient parking and access will make the Hoops NM Basketball Center a premier facility for league play and competitive regional tournaments. With over 9,000 square feet, Hoops NM Basketball Center will take court sports play to another level in our community. Courts are regulation high school size with wood floors and seating for approximately 350 per court. Major sponsors and supporters are being assembled now. If you're interested, contact Dan Serrano at 505-249-79